Smoke hung in the cold night air, thick, dark, and heavy with the smell of blood. The battlefield was quiet now, but not silent. Somewhere in the distance, a gun cracked. Somewhere else, an alien screamed before falling quiet again. The alien warrior lay half buried under broken stone, his breath shallow and harsh. His chest rose and fell unevenly. A long black arrow stuck deep between his ribs, its shaft trembling whenever he moved. His claws scraped against the ground, trying to break the arrow, trying to pull it free. But the more he tried, the deeper the pain cut. He growled. His pride burned hotter than the wound. He was a warrior he was never supposed to fall like this, and now a human walked toward him. Boots crunched on shattered stone. The alien's sharp eyes caught the movement through the smoke. A lone figure approached, steady and calm. The human carried no weapon in his hands, though a rifle hung across his back. His eyes were cold, scanning the ruins until they fell on the wounded alien. The alien's throat rumbled, low and dangerous. His voice came out raw and sharp. "Stay back, human." The human stopped, but only for a moment. Then he took another step closer. The alien's hand shot out, claws flashing, but the pain in his chest dragged him back down. His blood spilled, warm against the dirt. He hated the weakness. He hated that a human of all creatures was watching him suffer. The human knelt beside him. His voice was steady, quiet, but strong. "If you keep it in, you'll die." The alien snarled, his fangs bared. "I would rather die than beg for mercy." The human tilted his head, his eyes locking onto the arrow. He reached forward slowly, as if touching a wild animal. His fingers brushed the shaft of the arrow. The alien roared and grabbed the human's wrist with surprising strength. His claws pressed against the man's skin, ready to tear. Their eyes met. One pair burning red with rage and pain, the other calm, steady, almost stubborn. The human didn't flinch. The alien's grip trembled. His pride told him to snap this man's bones. His body told him to let go, because the poison in the arrow was crawling deeper with every breath. His arm weakened. Slowly his claws slipped away. The human leaned closer. His voice dropped to a whisper. "Say it." The alien's chest burned. His jaw clenched. His pride fought with his life. At last, through gritted fangs, he spat the words. "Pull it out, human." The human's hand tightened on the arrow. The shaft was slick with blood. He braced one hand against the alien's shoulder. Their faces were close now, too close. Breath mixing in the dark. The alien stared at him with burning eyes, rage and shame twisting together. "If you fail," he hissed, "I'll take your throat before I die." The human's lips curled into the faintest smile. Fair enough. Then he pulled. The arrow shifted, dragging the crossbone. The alien roared so loud the ruins shook. His claws slashed against the ground, carving deep marks into the stone. His body arched with agony, his chest on fire. The human pulled harder. Blood burst out in hot streams. His arm shook from the force, but he didn't stop. He yanked, twisted, dragged the weapon free in one brutal motion. The alien collapsed back, gasping, his vision blurring. His body felt hollow, lighter, but weaker. The human threw the bloody arrow aside and pressed his hands against the wound to slow the bleeding. "You're not dead yet," he said. The alien's eyes flickered. Pride, rage, and something else he couldn't name. His lips moved, a whisper he hated himself for saying. "Why?" The human didn't answer. He only pressed harder on the wound. His calm eyes never left the alien's face. And then footsteps echoed in the ruins. Heavy, close. Both of them turned their heads. Shadows moved through the smoke. 3, 4 figures, armed, approaching fast. The alien's heart pounded. His claws dug into the ground. His voice was rough as he whispered, "They'll kill us both." The human's hand hovered over his rifle. his other hand still pressed firmly against the alien's bleeding chest. His voice was steady, almost teasing. "Then you better not die yet." The alien's eyes widened. For the first time, fear and confusion touched his proud face. The footsteps grew louder, closer. The shadows stretched long across the rubble. The alien bared his fangs, but his body was too weak to fight. He turned his eyes back to the human, who was already raising his rifle. The night air tightened with silence. And then a loud metallic click echoed. The rifle was ready, but would it be enough? Cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were the alien, would you let the human keep his hands on you? Or would you push him away, even if it meant death? Asterisk. The night swallowed every sound, except the crunch of boots drawing closer. The human kept his rifle steady, finger brushing the trigger. The alien warrior, half-conscious, forced his chest to rise and fall. His blood still leaked beneath the human's hand, warm and sticky against his skin. He hated it. Hated the weakness. Hated that a human was the only thing keeping him alive. Through the smoke, shapes appeared. 4 soldiers. Their eyes glowed faintly under their helmets, their weapons raised. The human shifted his stance, keeping his body between them and the wounded alien. "Stay low," the human whispered. The alien's pride flared like fire. His jaw tightened. "Do not command me, human." But he could barely lift his claws. The soldiers came closer, their voices sharp, barking orders in a tongue. Both of them understood. "Drop your weapon, hands up, now." The human's rifle never moved. His voice was calm, too calm. "If I drop it, we're both dead." The alien's heart pounded. "We?" The word echoed in his skull. Why did the humans speak as if their lives were tied together? The soldiers aimed. Fingers curled on triggers. Then the human fired. The first enemy dropped with a scream. The second fell before he could fire back. Smoke flashed. Bullets cracked through the air, sparks dancing in the rubble. The human moved with sharp, precise violence, each shot finding its mark. The alien lay frozen, stunned. Not by the fight, but by the man's eyes. Cold, focused, merciless, and yet, when the last soldier fell, those same eyes turned soft the moment they looked back at him. The human rushed down, kneeling close again. His hands pressed harder against the wound. His voice dropped low, rough. With exhaustion, "You're safe, for now." The alien growled weakly. "Safe? You think I need your pity?" The human's lips tightened. "No, but you need my hands. Without me, that poison will finish you in an hour." The alien's chest burned with more than pain. Pride tore at him, demanding he push the human away. But the warmth of his hands, steady and unshaking, kept him still. He spat blood, his voice sharp. "Why? Why risk your life for me?" The human didn't answer. He pulled a small pouch from his belt. Medical supplies. He opened a vial, its bitter smell filling the air, and pressed it to the wound. The alien hissed, body arching from the sting. His claws lashed out, grabbing the man's wrist. Their faces were close again, so close he could feel the human's breath against his lips. "Do not touch me." The human's eyes locked onto his, "Then die." The alien froze. His chest rose and fell fast. For a long, dangerous moment, neither of them moved. Their grip tightened, one filled with rage, the other with stubborn calm. Finally, the alien's claws slid back. His pride howled inside him, but his body betrayed him. He let the human continue. The sting eased. The bleeding slowed. The alien felt his strength crawl back, though faint. His eyes burned into the man's face, memorizing every line. This human was no ordinary soldier. He fought like a beast, and healed like a brother. But the alien's pride whispered, "Never. Show gratitude." He tilted his head, lips curling in a low snarl. "If I survive this night, human, I will challenge you. Warrior, to prove I do not owe you my life." The human smirked faintly. his hand pressing firm on the bandage. "Fine, survive first. Then we'll see." The alien's chest ached, not just from the arrow wound, but from something deeper he refused to name. The ruins fell silent again, but silence on a battlefield was never safety. Far in the distance, engines roared, lights flashing through the smoke. More were coming. The human lifted his rifle, his other hand still steady on the alien. His voice was quiet, but filled with a strange edge. "Looks like we're not done yet." The alien turned his head, fangs bared, blood still staining. His lips dot, and for the first time he asked himself, was his pride worth more than this human's touch? The sound of engines grew louder, shadows stretched long. Their night had only begun. Cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were the alien, would you swallow your pride and let the human keep saving you? Or would you push him away, even if it meant death? The ruins were silent now, but silence was never safety. Smoke drifted through the broken walls. The alien warrior leaned heavy against the human's shoulder, his pride screaming in shame. His body was weak, poisoned, and bleeding, yet it was a human carrying his weight. He hated every step. And yet, without that arm around him, he would already be dead. The human led him through the shattered streets, boots crunching over rubble. He moved fast, scanning every shadow, every corner. At last he shoved open a fallen stone door, dragging the alien into the hollow shell of an old temple. The air inside was damp, filled with dust and the faint smell of burned incense. The broken statues of forgotten gods stared down at them. Their stone faces cracked. The human laid the alien against the wall. "Stay still. You'll tear it open again." The alien snarled low. "You think I obey you?" He tried to push himself up, but his legs trembled, and his body betrayed him. He slid back down, claws digging into the floor. The human's eyes softened just a little. "Exactly. You don't obey me. You survive with me." The words stung worse than the wound. The alien turned his head away, jaw tight, eyes burning with shame. In his world, warriors died before showing weakness. Yet here he was, alive because of a human. The human pulled supplies from his pack: bandages, water, a small glow stick that bathed the ruin in pale green light. He knelt close, cleaning the wound, careful but firm. His fingers pressed against the alien's skin, warm and steady. The alien's chest rose faster. His eyes flickered to the man's face, close enough now that he could feel his breath. For the first time, his anger faltered. He hated the sensation crawling through him, something sharp, but not pain. Something dangerous. "Why?" the alien whispered, his voice rough. "Do you care if I live?" The human paused. For a moment, he didn't answer. His eyes locked with the alien's, steady and unreadable. "Because I don't leave people behind." The alien's throat tightened. People? Was that what he was now, a person, not an enemy? His pride roared against the thought, but the warmth of those hands made it harder to deny. The human leaned closer, pressing a bandage firm against his chest. Their faces almost touched. The alien's claws twitched, torn between pushing him away or pulling him closer. But before either could move, a sound shattered the moment. Clang. Metal boots. Outside. The human froze. He slid his rifle into position, eyes narrowing. The alien's heart pounded, shame burning hotter than ever. He could not stand. He could not fight. If enemies stormed the temple, he would be nothing but dead weight. The human whispered, low and sharp, "Stay quiet." The alien's lips pulled back in a snarl. "I am no coward." The human's eyes flicked to him, fire flashing. "No, but you're bleeding, and I'm not letting you die here." Shadows moved at the door. Voices murmured in the distance. Armed men or worse searching the ruins. The alien's claws dug into the floor. He had never felt so helpless, so humiliated. And yet, in that shame, something new burned. Rage, yes, Pride, yes, but also a strange need for this human not to leave him. The glow stick flickered, casting their faces in broken light. The human's finger tightened on the trigger. The temple door creaked. Shadows fell across the green. Light. Both froze. The alien's chest burned with more than poison now. He bared his fangs, whispering low into the human's ear. "If I fall here, human, will you fight for me as if I am yours?" The human's lips curved in the faintest dangerous smile. His answer was cut short because the door burst open. Cliffhanger. Ending question for comments. If you were the human, would you risk your life to protect the alien like he was yours? Or would you leave him behind to save yourself? Asterisk. The temple door slammed open with a crash. Shadows rushed inside. 3 soldiers, weapons raised, eyes glowing in the pale light. The human moved first. His rifle cracked, the flash lighting the statues like ghosts. 1 soldier fell before he even fired. The others charged, blades drawn, their footsteps echoing across the stone. The alien warrior struggled to rise. His claws scraped the floor, his muscles screaming. Pride raged inside him. He would not lie broken while a human fought in his place. He forced himself up, leaning heavy on the wall. His chest burned, poison twisting in his veins, but his eyes blazed red. His hand gripped the hilt of a fallen blade, the steel slick with blood. The human spun, kicking an attacker away, then firing point blank. The last soldier lunged with his sword, aiming for the human's chest, but the alien moved first. With a roar, he drove the blade upward, splitting the enemy open from hip to shoulder. Blood sprayed the temple floor. The alien staggered, his body trembling, but his fangs flashed in grim victory. The human's rifle lowered. His eyes flicked to the alien, wounded, weak, but still dangerous. "You can still fight," the human said, smiling. The alien's breath came ragged. His pride burned hotter than his wound. "I am no helpless beast. Remember that, human." He dropped the blade with a clang, his legs nearly giving way. The human caught him before he fell, one arm around his shoulders, holding him up. The alien snarled. "Do not touch me." The human leaned closer, his voice low and sharp. "If I let go, you hit the floor. Choose." Their eyes locked again, close enough to feel the heat of each other's breath. The alien's pride screamed, but his body leaned against the man's chest. Heavy and unwilling, the human pressed him back against the wall, checking the wound quickly. Blood still oozed, slower now, but the poison was spreading. The alien's claws twitched, his voice softer, almost bitter. "That arrow, it was poisoned. A slow death. You should have let me fall. Why fight for me?" The human paused, his fingers pressing on the bandage. His eyes searched the alien's face. "Maybe I want to see what kind of warrior you really are. When you're not busy hating me." The alien's throat tightened. His fangs showed in a half snarl, half smile. "Careful, human. Speak like that again, and I might think you desire me." The human smirked, his hand pressing firm against the wound. "Maybe I already do." The alien froze. His chest rose fast, his eyes wide for a second. Then he snapped his gaze away, hiding the heat in his face. Pride burned, but something else flickered in the fire. Before he could answer, a sudden explosion ripped through the ruins outside. The ground shook, dust raining down from the cracked ceiling. The human cursed under his breath. Engines roared. Closer, more soldiers flooding the streets. The alien's claws dug into the wall. His voice was low, almost a growl. "They're hunting us. They won't stop until one of us is dead." The human loaded his rifle again, jaw tight. "Then we make sure it isn't us." The alien turned his eyes toward him, lips curling slowly into a dangerous grin. "Then hear me, human. If we live through this night, I will challenge you, blade to blade. I will prove no warrior, no human, can claim my life." The human looked at him for a long moment, then nodded once. I'll be waiting." The roar outside grew louder. Boots thundered, shouts filled the streets. The temple shook as if the whole army had gathered. The human raised his rifle. The alien lifted his claws, dotting together, side by side. They waited for the storm. Cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were the alien, would you fight beside the human as an equal, or would your pride force you to fight him later, even if he saved your life? The ruins burned outside. Flames licking the broken stone, shadows dancing like ghosts. Engines roared, soldiers shouted, boots pounded. The temple was no longer safe. The human slung his rifle across his shoulder and pulled the alien up. The warrior resisted at first, but his legs betrayed him. He leaned, unwilling, against the human's side as they slipped into the smoke. Every sound was danger. Every shadow held an enemy. They were hunted. The alien's pride burned hotter than the wound in his chest. His voice was low, sharp as a blade. "Do you know what my kind call yours? Prey. Humans run. Humans hide. Humans bleed when we strike." That is what I was taught. The human's eyes scanned the streets, calm but cold. "Then what does that make you now? Leaning on the prey to live?" The alien's jaw tightened. His claws twitched, shame burning through his veins. He hated the truth in those words, hated the warmth of the man's arm around him, hated how his heart pounded when their eyes met. They moved through alleys, the city around them collapsing in fire and ash. Twice they ducked from patrols, pressing close against the walls, their bodies nearly touching in the dark. The alien's breath grew heavier, not just from poison, but from something deeper he refused to name. At last, they slipped into the shadow of an overturned tower. The human lowered him gently to the ground. The alien groaned, baring his fangs. In anger, "Do not treat me like a fragile thing." The human crouched in front of him, his face close. "Then stop bleeding on me." For a moment, silence, their eyes locked. Pride battled something dangerous between them. The alien's chest rose faster, his claws flexing against the dirt. Finally, he broke it. His voice was low, rough, filled with bitter honesty. "If not for you, I would be dead." The human's expression didn't change. Yes, the alien's throat tightened. The admission tasted like poison, worse than the arrow itself. "I should hate you for it." The human leaned closer, his voice barely a whisper. "Then why don't you?" The alien froze, his breath caught. For once, he had no answer. His pride roared inside him, but something else hotter, sharper coiled in his chest. Before he could speak, headlights cut through the smoke. Armored vehicles rolled into the streets. Voices barked orders. Dozens of soldiers swarmed the ruins. The human loaded his rifle, jaw tight. "They found us." The alien's claws dug into the ground. His lips pulled back in a grin, blood staining his teeth. "Good, let them come." The human glanced at him, then shook his head. "You're poisoned. You can't fight all of them." The alien's eyes flared, burning with fire. "Then kill them in my name. Show me if humans are prey or predators." The human's finger brushed the trigger. His voice dropped, calm and dangerous. "Watch me." The first vehicle stopped. Soldiers poured out, weapons flashing. The night lit with fire and steel. The human stepped forward into the storm. The alien tried to rise, his body shaking, forcing strength into failing limbs. His pride screamed that he could not sit and watch. His vision blurred, poison eating at him. Still, his claws gripped the wall. Dragging himself up, the human turned his head back for just a second, shouting over the chaos, "Stay alive. I'm not finished with you yet." The alien's chest burned. His voice tore free, a roar that shook. "The ruins. I am no prey. I fight beside you, human." With that, he stumbled into the flames at the man's side. The battlefield exploded with light. Cliffhanger. Ending question for comments. If you were the alien, would you fight beside the human, even poisoned and weak? Or let him fight alone to protect your pride? Asterisk, the streets burned red with fire. Explosions shook the ruins, walls collapsing in showers of sparks. Bullets sliced the air. Soldiers shouted orders, their voices drowning in the thunder of engines. Human moved like a shadow in the flames, rifle flashing, precise and ruthless. Each shot dropped an enemy. Each step carried him forward. The alien staggered beside him, poison twisting in his veins. His claws dripped blood, yet he still tore through soldiers who came too close. His pride screamed louder than the wound. He would not crawl behind a human like a helpless beast. Back to back, they fought. Steel and fire, claws and bullets. A dance of survival, but there were too many. Vehicles rolled closer, turrets spitting fire. The ground shook beneath their boots. For every enemy they killed, 5 more appeared. The human cursed under his breath, dragging the alien toward a narrow alley. "We can't stay here. Move." The alien snarled, his voice ragged. "I do not run." The human grabbed his arm, pulling him forward, their bodies slamming shoulder to shoulder in the tight space. His voice was sharp, almost angry. "It's not running, it's living." The alien froze for half a heartbeat at those words. Living. His kind never spoke of it that way. They spoke only of dying with honor. But here, with this man's hand gripping his arm, living felt like something else. Something worth fighting for. They stumbled through the alley, gunfire chasing them, walls cracking with every shot. Dust filled their lungs. The human shoved open a half-broken steel door, dragging the alien inside. They fell into darkness. The room was small, damp, filled with pipes and the smell of rust. The human slammed the door shut, locking it with a metal bar. Outside, boots thundered past, searching. For a moment, silence. The alien leaned against the wall, his chest heaving, his vision swam. He felt the poison eating him alive. His claws shook as he tried to steady himself. The human crouched in front of him, ripping open his shirt to check the wound again. Blood seeped through the bandage, blackened at the edges from the venom. The alien caught his wrist, claws trembling, but firm. His voice came low, almost a growl. "You care too much. For an enemy. For me." The human didn't flinch. His eyes stayed locked on his. "You're not my enemy anymore." The alien's breath caught. His pride twisted, burning, hotter than fire. He wanted to snarl, to deny it, but the warmth of those words made something dangerous stir inside him. He leaned closer, their faces inches apart, his fangs bared in a trembling half-smile. "Careful, human. Say it again, and I may start believing." "You." The human's lips curved in a faint grin. "Maybe that's the point." The alien's chest rose faster. His claws flexed, torn between pushing him away or pulling him closer. But before either could move, the metal door shuddered. Boom. A blast shook the room. Dust rained from the ceiling. Shouts echoed outside. The enemy had found them. The human's rifle clicked loaded, ready. His other hand pressed firm against the alien's chest, keeping him steady. "We can't stay here. If we move fast, we might make it out." The alien bared his teeth, his eyes blazing. "And if I fall?" The human leaned close, whispering so only he could. "Here, then I'll carry you. Even if you fight me the whole way." The alien froze, his heart pounding in ways battle had never caused. His pride wanted to scream. His body wanted something else. The door cracked again. Soldiers shouted, footsteps drawing near. The human raised his rifle. The alien gripped his, claws tight. Side by side. They prepared for one last desperate run. And then the door exploded inward. Cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were the alien, would you let the human carry you to safety? Or would your pride make you fight alone, even if it killed you? The door blew apart in a storm of fire and steel. Soldiers poured through the smoke, their rifles blazing. The human fired back, each shot precise, his jaw tight with focus. Brass casings fell around his boots, sparks dancing in the dark. The alien staggered to his feet, claws bared. His body trembled, poison burning hotter than fire, but he roared anyway, charging at the first soldier. His claws ripped through armor, blood spraying across the wall. For a moment, they fought like one creature, rifle and claw, side by side, back to back. Each move covered the other. Each strike kept them alive a little longer, but the poison was winning. The alien's chest burned like molten fire. His claws slowed, his knees buckled. The world swam before his eyes. He stumbled, collapsing to one side. The human caught him before he hit the ground. His arms wrapped around him, pulling him close. His voice came low, sharp with urgency. "Stay with me." The alien snarled weakly, his pride breaking under the weight of his failing body. "I am no weakling." The human's hand pressed against his wound. His eyes searched the dark vein spreading across the alien's chest. "It's the poison. If I don't draw it out, you die here." The alien's breath hitched, fangs glinting in the flicker of firelight. His eyes locked onto the man's, red, burning, but filled with something more than rage. "Then do it, human. Pull it out. All of it." The human froze for half a heartbeat, their faces inches apart, the alien's voice thick with something dangerous, something that wasn't just pain. Their breath mixed in the heat of battle. The alien's claws gripped his arm, not pushing him away this time, but pulling him closer. The human's lips tightened, his hands pressing against the wound. "This is going to hurt." The alien bared his fangs in a half snarl, half smile. "Good, then I will know it's real." With one sharp motion, the human pressed down hard, forcing blood and venom out of the wound. The alien roared, his body arching, claws carving deep lines into the floor. His chest burned, his vision flashing white. Yet through the pain, his eyes stayed locked on the man's face, his strength, his fire, his stubborn will. The poison spilled dark onto the ground. The human's arm shook, but he didn't stop, not until the black blood slowed, not until the alien's breathing steadied. Finally, the alien slumped forward, his forehead pressing against the man's shoulder. His voice came rough, trembling but alive. "You pulled it out. You saved me." The human's hand lingered on his chest, warm against his skin. His voice dropped low. "Not because I had to. Because I wanted to." The alien's heart pounded. Pride fought against something else, something hotter, something far more dangerous. Slowly, he lifted his head, their faces close once more. But before either could speak, an explosion ripped through the building. The ceiling groaned, stone collapsing. Dust and fire swallowed the air. Soldiers shouted, their voices lost in the chaos. The human grabbed the alien tight, dragging him toward the shattered wall. Outside, more engines roared. Searchlights cut through the smoke. The battle wasn't over. The alien's claws dug into the man's arm. His voice was rough but steady now, carrying more than defiance. "If I live, human, I will challenge you, but not as prey. Not as enemy, as something more." The human's lips curved into a dangerous smile. His rifle clicked, ready. "Then survive and prove it." The building shook again. Flames rose high. And together, human and alien leapt into the fire. Cliffhanger ending question for comments. If you were the alien, after he pulled the poison out, would you challenge the human to fight you or claim him as yours forever?